Have you ever walked into a room and felt an unspoken tension? Noticed someone's fleeting glance that seemed to reveal more than their words ever could? Or experienced a moment where you just knew what someone was feeling without them saying a thing? That's the power of perception, the subtle, often overlooked art of truly understanding people. This book, The Art of Reading People, Decode Personalities, Build Connections, and Speak Their Language, written and published by Mindful Literary, is your guide to unlocking this hidden world. It's not about manipulation or judgment, it's about connection. By learning to decode personalities, recognize unspoken cues, and adapt your communication style, you can build deeper relationships, foster empathy, and create meaningful interactions in all areas of your life. We all experience moments of miscommunication or misunderstandings, where despite our best intentions, something just doesn't land the way we hope. Maybe you've had an awkward conversation with a coworker, a disagreement with a loved one that spiraled out of control, or a chance encounter where the potential for connection slipped away. The truth is, these moments often stem from not fully understanding the person in front of us. This book isn't about labeling people into rigid boxes. Instead, it's about expanding your awareness to see others and yourself with greater clarity. Imagine being able to step into someone else's world, to see what they see and feel what they feel. Imagine being able to adapt your words and actions in ways that make people feel truly understood. Throughout this journey, you'll explore the science of personality, the nuances of body language, the art of listening beyond words, and the impact of cultural and emotional contexts. You'll learn practical techniques, hear engaging stories, and uncover insights that will forever change the way you approach relationships. This isn't just a skill, it's a superpower. The ability to read people doesn't just enrich your relationships, it transforms how you see the world. It bridges divides, builds trust, and deepens human connection in ways you never thought possible. So, as you turn the pages, I invite you to embark on a journey of discovery, not just about others, but about yourself. Because in understanding the people around us, we also uncover truths about our own hearts and minds. Let's begin this transformative journey into the art of reading people. Your world of connection, understanding, and influence awaits. Introduction: The Power of Perception. Story of a missed connection or misunderstanding due to misreading someone's behavior. There was a particular day that stands out in my mind, a day that began with promise but quickly spiraled into awkwardness and missed opportunity. I was at a local coffee shop, a favorite spot of mine, where the smell of freshly ground beans and sweet pastries filled the air. Amidst the hum of conversation, I noticed a woman sitting alone at a table nearby. She had a book in her hand, her brow slightly furrowed in concentration, yet her body language relaxed. I could have sworn she glanced at me a couple of times, and with each fleeting look, I felt a spark of intrigue. What I misread as encouragement was simply her glancing up from the pages of her novel. I gathered my courage, convinced that she was waiting for someone to approach her. But as I made my way over, she suddenly packed her things and got up to leave. I mustered a weak smile, and in that brief moment, our eyes locked. She looked puzzled, perhaps even apprehensive, as if she had been trying to avert the conversation I was intent on initiating. I felt the instant jolt of regret as the door swung shut behind her. That encounter haunted me for days, lingering in my thoughts like a catchy tune. I realized that I had misread her signals completely, building an entire narrative around something that wasn't there. This experience taught me a valuable lesson about the intricacies of human interaction. Sometimes, our interpretations of body language and facial expressions can lead us astray. I learned that while it's natural to read into others' behavior, it's crucial to be aware of the fine line between perception and reality. The woman had been absorbed in her book, lost in another world, and my eagerness had misaligned with her solitude. This situation reminded me of how easily we can project our feelings onto others, assuming they feel the same way or are receptive to our desires, when in fact they might be preoccupied or uninterested. It's a common struggle, one that many of us face in social situations. My takeaway was to approach interactions more mindfully, to observe and listen carefully rather than rush in with my assumptions. Moving forward, I've adopted a more cautious outlook when it comes to reading social cues. I've realized that maintaining awareness of others' contexts can foster richer connections and prevent unnecessary misunderstandings. When I find myself in similar situations, I pause to reflect on what might truly be happening. Taking a step back allows for a clearer examination of social dynamics. Another practical tip is to invite more openness in conversations. Instead of assuming someone's feelings, I've learned to ask questions or share a lighthearted comment that can ease any tension and invite genuine dialogue. Instead of rushing to conclusions, there's great value in fostering curiosity about others' experiences. Engaging with people in this manner not only enriches personal connections, but also opens the door to new opportunities that might have otherwise been lost in misinterpretation. The benefits of reading people effectively: better relationships, stronger influence, and enhanced empathy. Understanding people is like unlocking a secret treasure chest filled with the keys to better personal and professional relationships. When I started to pay more attention to the nuances of conversations, body language, and emotions, I noticed immediate changes in how I connected with others. For instance, a simple shift in my response based on someone's facial expression can lead to a much deeper conversation. People often reveal more than they realize. When we learn to recognize unspoken cues, it allows us to respond in a way that makes the other person feel seen and valued. This genuine acknowledgement fosters trust and rapport, which are essential in any relationship, whether with friends, family, or colleagues. Empathy plays a crucial role in how we influence those around us. I've found that when I truly attempt to understand another person's perspective, it opens doors to more meaningful exchanges. For example, during a heated discussion, instead of countering arguments with my own viewpoint, I try to reflect back what I've heard from the other person. This not only validates their feelings, but also invites them to share more openly. This kind of empathic understanding transforms my role in conversations from a mere participant to an influential catalyst for change. People are naturally drawn to those who can empathize with their feelings, which strengthens our influence in not only our personal lives, but also in professional settings. By actively engaging in the art of reading people, we not only enhance our relationships, but also equip ourselves with the tools to navigate life's intricacies. One practical tip is to practice active listening. Focus fully on the speaker, ask clarifying questions, and observe their nonverbal signals. This approach can lead to insights that enrich your interactions, making them more productive and fulfilling. This book aims to equip you with the skills needed to decipher the complex personalities around you. Each interaction we have is a window into who people are at their core. By learning to read subtle cues, verbal tones, and body language, you can enhance your ability to connect with others meaningfully. The goal isn't just to read, but to understand and interpret the motivations and feelings that drive people's behaviors. As you develop these skills, you'll find yourself not only more aware of others, but also more empathetic, allowing for deeper and more authentic relationships. As we embark on this journey together, you'll discover more about yourself while honing interpersonal skills that improve your daily interactions. Self-discovery plays a critical role in understanding others. By reflecting on your own personality, triggers, and communication style, you will find it easier to relate to those around you. This exploration will not only make you a better communicator, but also enhance your capacity to create connections that last. The journey of understanding begins with you and will open doors to new friendships, partnerships, and collaborations that enrich your life. One practical tip is to practice active listening during conversations. Instead of planning your next response while the other person is speaking, focus entirely on their words, tone, and nonverbal signals. This not only shows respect, but also allows you to pick up on feelings and nuances that might otherwise be missed. By giving your full attention, you create a safe space for genuine dialogue, laying the foundation for a deeper understanding and a stronger connection. Chapter 1: The Science of Personality. The psychological and biological roots of personality. Understanding personality formation starts with exploring psychological theories that have tried to decode what makes us who we are. After years of research, psychologists have developed various models to explain how our personalities form and evolve over time. One of the most notable is the Big Five personality traits model, which suggests that our personalities can be understood through 5 core traits: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Each of these traits exists on a spectrum, and we all fall somewhere along these continua. This model emphasizes how traits are not merely binary, but rather fluid and influenced by our experiences, environment, and choices. Psychological theories have also introduced concepts like Freud's psychoanalysis and Adler's individual psychology, which underscore how our early experiences and subconscious drives play a crucial role in shaping our identities. Each encounter and each relationship contributes to the complexity of our personality development, forming a tapestry that reflects both our past and our aspirations. On the other hand, the biological influences on personality cannot be overlooked. Our genetic makeup plays a significant role in shaping who we are. Research in behavioral genetics suggests that genes account for a substantial portion of the variance in personality traits. Twin studies, in particular, have shed light on how both nature and nurture interact to influence our individual differences. For instance, identical twins raised apart often exhibit striking similarities in their temperament and behavior, indicating a strong biological underpinning to personality. Additionally, brain structure and function also impact how we think, feel, and behave. Neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine influence mood and emotional regulation, which in turn can inform personality traits such as optimism or pessimism. Understanding the biological basis of personality can provide a deeper insight into why we react to the world the way we do, encouraging us to appreciate the intricate interplay between our biology and our lived experiences. By recognizing the complex relationship between psychological theories and biological influences, we can create a more comprehensive understanding of personality. This awareness can empower us to navigate our relationships and personal growth journeys more effectively. Engaging with our own personality traits, understanding their origins, can lead to greater self-acceptance and more intentional choices in our lives. So, as you reflect on your own personality, consider both the psychological frameworks and biological factors that have molded who you are today. Exploring these dimensions and seeking insights from your own experiences may offer you tools to foster personal growth and deeper connections with others. Major theories, such as the Big Five personality traits and temperament versus character. The Big Five personality traits, often remembered by the acronym OCEAN, are openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Each of these traits plays a significant role in shaping our behaviors and social interactions. Openness reflects how open-minded and imaginative a person is, influencing their curiosity and willingness to explore new experiences. Conscientiousness relates to how organized and dependable someone is, affecting their work ethic and reliability in various settings. Extroversion describes how outgoing and sociable a person is, impacting their ability to connect with others and enjoy group activities. Agreeableness indicates how friendly and compassionate a person is, influencing their relationships and the level of trust they build with others. Lastly, neuroticism reveals a person's emotional stability and how they respond to stress. Understanding these traits helps us gain insight into our personalities and how we might interact with others in different social contexts, making it easier to navigate relationships, whether personal or professional. Diving deeper into human behavior, it's crucial to differentiate between temperament and character. Temperament refers to the innate tendencies we are born with, like aspects of our personality that dictate how we approach life and respond to challenges. It's like a foundation upon which we build our behaviors and reactions. For instance, some people might naturally be more reactive or sensitive, while others may have a calmer disposition. Character, on the other hand, develops over time through experiences, choices, and moral lessons. It encompasses our values, ethics, and the qualities that define how we handle situations and make decisions. Essentially, temperament is more about raw emotional responses and tendencies, while character is about how we shape those tendencies into behaviors aligned with our beliefs and values. Recognizing this difference helps us understand where our intrinsic traits might clash or harmonize with the learned behaviors and values we adopt throughout our lives. Understanding both the Big Five personality traits and the distinctions between temperament and character can significantly enhance our self-awareness. This self-awareness can guide us in personal development and in improving our relationships with others. A practical tip is to take some time to reflect on your own traits and tendencies. Consider how they manifest in your everyday life and influence your interactions. By embracing your unique personality while also acknowledging areas for growth in your character, you can foster more fulfilling connections with those around you. How understanding these frameworks helps decode behaviors and motivations. Understanding personality frameworks like the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator or the Enneagram can be incredibly useful in daily life. These frameworks provide us with a lens to view ourselves and the people around us. For example, when I learned about the different personality types, I started to recognize patterns in how my friends and family reacted to certain situations. I noticed that my extroverted friends thrived in social gatherings, while my introverted friends preferred quieter settings. This awareness has allowed me to plan events that cater to everyone's preferences, fostering better relationships and reducing misunderstandings. Delving into these frameworks encourages us to analyze our behaviors and motivations, as well as those of others. By identifying our own personality types, we can understand why we respond the way we do under stress or in group dynamics. I remember a time when I felt overwhelmed in a team project. After reflecting on my personality type, I realized I often seek structure and clarity. Acknowledging this helped me communicate my needs to my team, leading to a more harmonious collaboration. Encouraging others to do the same opens a dialogue where everyone feels heard and validated, which can drastically improve our interactions. When we intentionally apply these frameworks in our conversations, we begin to decode the underlying reasons behind behaviors. Observing someone's response through a personality lens might reveal that their apparent disinterest in a discussion is rooted in a different communication style rather than a lack of engagement. As we strive to understand one another, it's beneficial to approach relationships with curiosity rather than judgment. A practical tip is to start small. When you find yourself puzzled by someone's actions, pause and consider their possible personality traits. This shift in perspective can lead to richer, more empathetic interactions. Chapter 2: The Role of Environment and Experience. How upbringing, culture, and life experiences shape behavior. Growing up in a certain family environment significantly influences who we become. I often reflect on my own childhood and how the interactions with my family shaped my personality. Each family has its unique dynamics, whether it's the way affection is expressed, the discipline that is implemented, or how conflict is resolved. These behaviors set the framework for how we view the world and our place in it. For instance, a nurturing and supportive family might foster confidence and curiosity in a child, while a more critical or detached environment might result in self-doubt or a defensive demeanor. Culture plays an equally crucial role as well. The values, norms, and beliefs of the culture we are raised in shape our responses to various situations, influencing everything from our aspirations to our social interactions. My experiences taught me that the tapestry of our upbringing weaves into the fabric of our identity. Life experiences act as powerful catalysts for shaping behavior and personality as well. Each event we encounter, small or significant, adds another layer to our development. Take, for instance, the difference between a child who has traveled extensively and been exposed to various cultures and one who has remained in a singular environment. The former may develop a nuanced understanding and appreciation for diversity, whereas the latter might have a more homogeneous perspective. Major life events, such as loss, achievement, or trauma, also leave an indelible mark on behavior. I've met people who emerged from challenges with resilience, while others became more withdrawn. These variations in life experiences create a mosaic of behavioral traits that reflect our unique paths. The combination of upbringing, culture, and experiences forms a complex web, influencing how we react, interact, and understand our surroundings. Understanding this interplay can lead to greater empathy towards ourselves and others. Recognizing that everyone comes with their own story can shift our perspective, allowing us to appreciate the diversity of human experience. As you navigate your relationships, remember that people act in ways shaped by their backgrounds and experiences. This awareness can enhance communication and foster connection. Examples of how similar personalities can manifest differently due to environmental factors. Consider two individuals, both of whom have a naturally extroverted personality but grew up in vastly different environments. Sarah, raised in a bustling city, thrived amidst its vibrant social scene. She learned to express her extroversion through networking events, lively gatherings, and an array of friendships. On the other hand, Jake grew up in a small, close-knit town where social interactions were limited to family and a handful of local friends. His extroversion, while still present, manifested in quieter settings such as community events and family gatherings. Their shared personality trait of being outgoing is expressed in ways that align with their unique environments, shaping how they connect with others and navigate social landscapes. As you reflect on your own life, think about the ways your environment has influenced how you present yourself and interact with others. Consider your upbringing. Were you in a bustling city or a tranquil countryside? Did you grow up in a culture that encouraged open expression or one that valued restraint? These factors likely shaped how you communicate, how you express emotions, and even how you view relationships. It's important to recognize that each of us carries nuances in our personality that reflect our surroundings, nuances that can evolve as we transition into different settings or communities throughout life. Exercises to reflect on how readers' own experiences influence their perceptions. Reflecting on your personal history can help uncover how your past shapes your views and interactions with the world. Start by asking yourself some thought-provoking questions. What are the key events in your life that have influenced your beliefs about certain groups or ideas? Consider experiences that may have challenged your preconceived notions. How did your family's values shape your outlook? Take some time to journal your responses. Let your thoughts flow freely. This is not about finding the right answer, but rather exploring your internal landscape. Next, try guided exercises that connect your personal experiences with how you perceive others. Begin with a simple exercise. Think of someone you have a strong opinion about, whether positive or negative. Write down your first thoughts and feelings regarding this person. Then, reflect on a moment in your life that may have shaped this perception. Did a similar experience affect your view of others? By drawing parallels between your life events and your feelings about this individual, you might uncover biases you weren't aware of. This process encourages empathy and understanding, steering you toward a more nuanced perspective. As you continue this reflective journey, remember that understanding the influences of your past can lead to greater empathy for others. When you identify how your experiences color your perceptions, you're one step closer to seeing others fully and without the shadows of your history clouding your view. Try to engage regularly in these reflective practices, setting aside a few moments each week for this kind of introspection. Over time, this can foster deeper connections and more meaningful interactions in your life. Chapter 3. The Power of First Impressions. Why first impressions matter and how they are formed in seconds. First encounters hold a powerful psychological significance that can influence how we perceive others for a long time. Studies show that our brains are wired to make snap judgments about people in mere seconds. These initial impressions are often cemented in our minds, affecting our interactions and relationships with them later on. When we meet someone for the first time, we quickly assess a myriad of factors: body language, tone of voice, facial expressions, and even our gut feelings. This instantaneous evaluation doesn't just shape our initial thoughts. It can dictate our responses and behavior toward that person in the future, often without us even realizing it. A positive first impression can open doors and create opportunities, while a negative one can lead to misunderstandings or barriers that may be difficult to overcome. Rapid judgments based on appearance and demeanor occur almost instinctively. When a person walks into a room, the way they present themselves can say a lot without uttering a single word. Studies suggest that traits such as confidence, openness, and approachability are often communicated through posture and facial expressions. For example, someone who stands with an open stance, makes eye contact, and smiles may be perceived as friendly and trustworthy. On the other hand, crossed arms, averted eyes, and a frown can lead others to view someone as closed off or defensive. These judgments, made in just a few seconds, can dictate how we respond to others, whether we engage with them, avoid them, or judge them based on our preconceived notions. Understanding how first impressions work can enhance our interactions with others. Making a conscious effort to present ourselves positively can encourage others to react favorably. In social or professional settings, being aware of our body language and the subtle signals we send can foster connections and facilitate communication. A practical tip to leave a lasting positive impression is to practice active listening, maintaining eye contact, nodding in agreement, and responding thoughtfully. This not only shows that you value the other person's input, but it also helps to build rapport right away. Remember, first impressions may be formed quickly, but their impact can linger for a long time. Unpacking the halo effect and confirmation bias in interpreting behaviors. The halo effect is a psychological phenomenon where our overall impression of a person influences how we feel and think about their character and traits. For example, if someone is attractive, we might unconsciously presume they are also kind, smart, or capable. This happens because we tend to connect superficial traits with deeper attributes without realizing it. The implications of the halo effect are significant, especially in professional settings. When hiring managers allow a candidate's pleasing appearance to skew their judgment, they might overlook critical skill deficits. In everyday interactions, this bias can lead us to form connections based on looks, charm, or first impressions rather than on a person's true character or abilities. This can perpetuate stereotypes and lead to unfair judgments, impacting personal and professional relationships. Confirmation bias plays a crucial role in how we reinforce our interpretations of social interactions. Once we form a first impression, we tend to seek out information that validates that initial viewpoint, ignoring or even dismissing evidence that contradicts it. For instance, if I meet someone and perceive them as unfriendly, I may interpret their neutral behavior as standoffish, overlooking moments that indicate warmth or kindness. This cycle reinforces our initial opinion, making it difficult to change our understanding of the person later. It creates a narrow lens through which we view others and can lead to a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we believe someone is unapproachable, we might act reserved around them, prompting them to respond in ways that confirm our bias. To help counteract these biases, it is beneficial to consciously remind ourselves to pause and reflect on our impressions. Making an effort to gather information before forming solid opinions about individuals allows us to challenge our initial thoughts. By actively seeking a broader understanding of others, we can foster healthier relationships and improve our social interactions. Additionally, keeping an open mind and being willing to reassess our judgments can lead to meaningful connections that we might have otherwise missed. Techniques to create positive first impressions while reserving judgment. Making a great first impression is all about how we communicate nonverbally and verbally. Body language plays a crucial role in this. Having an open stance, like uncrossed arms and relaxed shoulders, signals warmth and confidence. Eye contact is another key element. It shows that you are engaged and interested in the other person. A genuine smile can also go a long way. It creates an inviting atmosphere and encourages the other person to feel comfortable around you. Verbal communication is just as important. Using a friendly tone and addressing people by their names personalizes the interaction. Asking open-ended questions invites dialogue and shows that you value the other person's perspective. Remember that listening is just as important as speaking. Nodding occasionally can signal that you are actively engaged in the conversation, reinforcing a positive connection between both parties. Adopting an open mindset is essential for fostering understanding that transcends initial impressions. We often have preconceived notions about others based on fleeting observations, but these judgments can be misleading. When we approach new interactions with curiosity rather than skepticism, we open ourselves up to deeper insights. Taking a moment to reflect on our biases can help us recognize when we might be unfairly assessing someone based on first impressions. By reminding ourselves that everyone has their own unique story, we can cultivate empathy and connection. When we embrace the idea that our initial perceptions might not be the full picture, we allow ourselves to explore the richness of personalities and experiences that lie beneath the surface. A practical tip to keep in mind is that the next time you meet someone new, focus on being present in the moment. Take a deep breath before engaging, and remind yourself to view the interaction as an opportunity to learn something new rather than a transaction. This shift in perspective can make all the difference, turning a routine encounter into a meaningful connection. Chapter 4. Decoding Nonverbal Communication. The language of body posture, gestures, and facial expressions. Gestures have an incredible power to convey what words sometimes cannot. When I observe people interact, I notice how a simple wave of the hand or a thumbs up can transform the energy of a conversation. For instance, an open palm can indicate honesty and openness, while crossed arms might suggest defensiveness or resistance. Each gesture carries its own weight, often reflecting the inner feelings of the person making them. A light touch on the arm during a conversation can express empathy, while a finger pointing can come off as accusatory or aggressive. Learning to read these signals has been a fascinating journey for me, as it unveils a subconscious dialogue happening alongside spoken words. The next time you engage with someone, pay attention to how their gestures align with their words, as this can provide a deeper understanding of their true emotions and intentions. Posture plays an equally significant role in social interactions and can be a compelling indicator of a person's confidence and engagement level. When I stand tall, with my shoulders back and head held high, I often feel a surge of confidence. It's no coincidence that someone with such posture is perceived as more authoritative and trustworthy. Slouching, on the other hand, tends to make a person appear withdrawn or insecure. I have observed how adopting an open stance, with arms relaxed rather than crossed, can invite conversations and create a sense of approachability. Additionally, leaning slightly forward while someone is speaking conveys interest and attentiveness, making the speaker feel valued. The nuances of posture can significantly alter how messages are received, making it essential to be aware of our body language as we navigate interactions. As I reflect on these facets of nonverbal communication, I'm reminded of the profound impact they can have on our daily lives. Being aware of the language of body posture, gestures, and facial expressions allows us to connect more deeply with others. By consciously aligning our nonverbal signals with our verbal messages, we can enhance our communication skills, improve relationships, and foster understanding. A useful tip is to practice mindfulness in your daily interactions. Take a moment to observe your own posture and gestures as well as those of others. This awareness can lead to more authentic conversations and a better grasp of what people truly mean beyond their words. Microexpressions and their role in revealing hidden emotions. Microexpressions are brief, involuntary facial expressions that occur in response to an emotion. These flashes can last just a fraction of a second, revealing feelings someone might not want to show. The subtlety and speed of microexpressions make them a fascinating area of study in the field of emotions and psychology. Often, we might miss them if we aren't looking closely, even though they can offer a glimpse into a person's true emotional state. For instance, while someone may wear a mask of happiness, their microexpression might reveal a fleeting look of concern or sadness, hinting at deeper feelings that remain unspoken. Recognizing microexpressions begins with careful observation and practice. One effective tip is to focus on the key areas of the face where emotions are typically conveyed: the eyebrows, eyes, mouth, and even the forehead. Pay attention to how these features move in conjunction. For example, a genuine smile usually involves not only the mouth but also the eyes, which may crinkle slightly. Turning your focus to someone's facial movements during conversation can help you catch these fleeting signals. It also helps to practice with videos or in social situations where you can consciously watch for these microexpressions, learning over time how to decipher the subtle cues that might indicate how someone is really feeling beneath their composed exterior. This practice not only enhances your ability to read emotions, but can deepen your connections with others as you become more attuned to their unspoken feelings. Exercises for honing observational skills in daily interactions. Observing nonverbal cues is an essential skill, and it can be practiced in various settings throughout our day. One effective exercise is to watch people in public places like parks, cafes, or busy streets. Focus on a particular individual for a few minutes and take note of their body language. Are they leaning forward or backward? Do their arms seem open or closed? Pay attention to facial expressions and notice how they change in response to different stimuli. Afterward, try to analyze what these cues might indicate about their emotional state or thoughts. This practice not only improves your observational skills, but also enhances your empathy towards others. Encouraging daily reflection on body language significantly deepens your understanding of interpersonal communication. At the end of each day, take a moment to think about your interactions. Recall specific conversations and assess the nonverbal signals you received from those involved. Were there moments when someone seemed uncomfortable or excited? Reflecting on these instances helps to develop a more nuanced perspective on human behavior. Consider keeping a journal to jot down these observations, as it can provide insights over time. Analyzing your observations makes connections clearer and reveals patterns in how people express themselves without words. Being aware of nonverbal communication is a continuous journey, and it's beneficial to maintain this practice as you go about your daily life. Whether it's observing how a friend reacts when sharing good news or noticing a colleague's discomfort during a meeting, every interaction offers a chance for growth. A practical tip is to choose one setting each week to focus your observational efforts, be it during family gatherings, work meetings, or evenings out with friends. Consistent practice, combined with reflection, creates a cycle of learning that greatly enhances your ability to understand and connect with others. Chapter 5. Listening between the lines. How tone, pitch, and cadence reveal more than words. Vocal elements such as tone, pitch, and cadence are powerful cues that convey emotions and sincerity in ways that mere words often cannot. When someone speaks, their voice carries an emotional weight that enhances or contradicts the literal meaning of their words. For instance, a friendly greeting accompanied by a warm tone instantly creates a sense of welcome and comfort, while the same words spoken in a cold or high-pitched voice can feel insincere or even aggressive. The subtleties of pitch can indicate uncertainty or excitement, while a steady cadence often reflects confidence and conviction. Engaging with these vocal nuances allows us to interpret the underlying intentions of a speaker, revealing layers of meaning that might not be present in their words alone. Listening to tone is crucial for achieving deeper understanding in conversations. When we focus solely on the words being spoken, we risk missing out on the emotional context that colors those words. A well-articulated argument can fall flat if delivered with a dismissive tone, just as a poorly structured statement can feel profound when infused with heartfelt sincerity. Paying attention to these vocal elements helps us grasp not only what is being said, but also how it is being said. This attentiveness can transform our interactions, making them more meaningful as we connect with the emotions behind the dialogue. By sharpening our listening skills and tuning into vocal nuances, we deepen our empathy and responsiveness in conversations. Being aware of how tone, pitch, and cadence influence communication can also serve as a practical tool in various interactions, from professional settings to personal relationships. When engaging in discussions, remember that your voice carries as much meaning as your words. Adjust your tone to match the situation and the emotional state of your counterpart. Practicing this mindful approach is a small yet powerful way to enhance your communication skills, fostering stronger connections and a clearer understanding between you and others. Understanding verbal nuances, what people say versus what they mean. Everyday conversations are often riddled with subtext, the underlying messages that go beyond the literal words spoken. When I engage with others, I've noticed that what people choose to say can be quite different from what they actually mean. This concept of subtext plays a crucial role in our communications, influencing how messages are perceived and interpreted. For instance, when someone says, "I'm fine," their tone and body language might suggest otherwise. This dissonance highlights how much our feelings and intentions can lurk beneath the surface. The nuance of language is powerful. It reveals a landscape of emotions and thoughts that unspoken words convey. Recognizing subtext allows me to navigate social interactions more effectively, picking up on cues that guide my understanding of a person's true feelings or intentions. Misunderstandings often stem from common verbal pitfalls. I've experienced this firsthand, especially when individuals use phrases that can be interpreted in multiple ways. For example, when someone says, "That's interesting," it could either indicate genuine curiosity or a polite dismissal. The context in which these words are said, combined with the speaker's tone, dictates their real meaning. Another frequent pitfall is the use of euphemisms. When a colleague says, "We've decided to go in a different direction," what they might really mean is that my project is being shelved. These examples illustrate the gap between spoken words and the thoughts behind them, which can lead to significant miscommunication if not properly understood. Being aware of these potential misunderstandings is vital in fostering better dialogue between people, enabling us to ask clarifying questions when we sense discrepancies between what is said and what is meant. Practice exercises for active and intuitive listening. Strengthening interpersonal connections begins with mastering the art of active listening. One effective technique is to mirror the speaker's words and emotions. By summarizing or paraphrasing what they say, you show that you are engaged and really trying to understand their perspective. For example, if someone shares a frustration about work, you might say, "It sounds like you're feeling overwhelmed with your tasks." This not only reassures them that you're paying attention, but also encourages them to elaborate, deepening the conversation. Another powerful method is using open body language. Leaning slightly forward, maintaining eye contact, and nodding can communicate your interest without saying a word. These nonverbal cues invite the speaker to share more while reinforcing the connection between you two. Ask open-ended questions as well, such as "What happened next?" or "How did that make you feel?" This encourages deeper dialogue and shows that you value their thoughts and feelings. Mindfulness plays a crucial role in enhancing how we engage with others. Being present in a conversation means setting aside distractions. Turn off your phone, resist the urge to check your emails, and focus entirely on the person in front of you. Cultivating this level of attention aids comprehension and fosters empathy, allowing you to fully grasp the nuances of what the other person is conveying. Additionally, paying attention to your own feelings can better equip you to understand theirs. By acknowledging your emotional state during the conversation, you're more able to relate and respond thoughtfully. Practicing mindful listening can transform ordinary exchanges into meaningful conversations. It's about being open and available to the flow of dialogue, creating space for authentic connection. An effective exercise is to consciously pause before you respond. Take a moment to reflect on what's been said, rather than jumping in with your own thoughts immediately. This simple act can significantly enhance your empathetic responses and strengthen relationships. Experiment with these techniques in your daily interactions. The next time you're in a conversation, try to observe the other person closely, listen without planning your response, and remain present. This practice not only benefits your relationships, but also enriches your understanding of the world around you. Chapter 6. Emotional Energy and Presence. Reading the vibe or emotional energy someone exudes. Emotional energy is a complex, often subtle current that flows between people during interactions. It encompasses the feelings and moods that individuals project, which can be sensed in various ways. This emotional energy may be conveyed through body language, tone of voice, facial expressions, and even the words chosen in conversation. For example, a genuine smile can suggest warmth and openness, while a furrowed brow may indicate concern or tension. Learning to detect these subtle indicators enhances our ability to connect meaningfully with others. Attuning yourself to the emotional climate of a conversation requires active listening and keen observation. By focusing on the subtle cues, changes in someone's voice, the way they hold themselves, or their eye contact, you begin to tune in to their emotional state. It's important to approach conversations with an open mind and a willingness to engage with the other person's feelings. This might mean pausing to reflect on what the other person is saying, asking open-ended questions, or even validating their feelings. By creating a safe space where emotions can flow freely, you foster genuine connections. To enhance your ability to read emotional energy, practice mindfulness and self-awareness. Being in tune with your own emotions can help you better perceive and understand those of others. When you learn to ground yourself, you create a stronger foundation for recognizing and responding to the emotional needs of those around you. A practical tip is to take a moment before engaging in a conversation to check in with your own feelings. This practice will help you become more receptive to the emotional signals others are sending your way. How to detect shifts in mood and tension through subtle cues. Many of us have experienced moments where we sensed a change in mood, perhaps in ourselves or in someone else, yet we might not have known exactly what to look for. Common physical signs include things like body language. When a person's posture changes, for instance, and becomes more closed off or tense, it may indicate discomfort or anxiety. You might notice their hands clenching or fidgeting, which can be another sign that something emotional is at play. Facial expressions are crucial as well. A furrowed brow, pursed lips, or even a sudden lack of eye contact can hint at a shift in emotional state. When it comes to vocal signs, changes can be more subtle, but often just as telling. A person's tone might become sharper or quieter. Their speech may quicken with excitement or slow down with sadness. Recognizing these signs can be invaluable in understanding emotional dynamics. Once you identify these shifts, the next step is responding appropriately. It's essential to be mindful of the other person's emotional state and provide a supportive environment. Asking open-ended questions can help clarify what they're feeling. For instance, instead of saying, "Are you okay?" which might prompt a simple yes or no, try something like, "I've noticed you seem a bit tense. Would you like to talk about it?" This approach invites the person to express themselves at their own pace, fostering a sense of safety. Additionally, validating their feelings is crucial. Phrases like, "It seems like you're going through a lot right now," can reassure them that it's okay to feel what they are feeling, and you're there to listen without judgment. Your responsiveness can significantly influence the emotional climate, whether by offering comfort or simply by providing companionship during tough times. Understanding and responding to mood shifts is not just about observation, it's about connection. By becoming more aware of these subtle cues, we can enhance our relationships, foster empathy, and create deeper bonds with those around us. A practical tip for being more attuned to these shifts is to practice mindfulness. Taking a moment to check in with your own feelings can help you notice changes in others more easily. By grounding ourselves, we cultivate a better awareness of the emotional landscape around us. Techniques for aligning your own energy to foster better interactions. Self-regulation is a vital skill when it comes to engaging in productive dialogues. It allows us to manage our emotions and reactions, ensuring that our energy aligns with the conversation at hand. When we maintain a balanced state, our conversations flow more smoothly, and we are better equipped to listen and respond thoughtfully. I have often noticed how my own emotional state can greatly influence the dynamics of an interaction. If I am feeling anxious or frustrated, it not only affects my tone, but also tends to create a barrier between me and the other person. Recognizing my emotions and taking a moment to center myself has become a routine practice. This self-awareness helps me to bring a more grounded and receptive energy into conversations, making it easier to foster rapport and understanding. Harmonizing your emotional presence is another crucial step in building rapport with others. This involves tuning into both your emotions and the emotions of those around you. One effective strategy I've found is to consciously match the energy of my conversation partner. If they are enthusiastic, I allow myself to express that excitement as well. Alternatively, if they seem more reserved, I shift my energy to create a safe space for them to feel comfortable sharing. Additionally, practicing active listening plays a significant role in this process. Focusing intently on what the other person is saying not only helps me to understand their perspective, but also signals to them that I genuinely care about their thoughts and feelings. When we approach interactions with an open heart and mind, we naturally cultivate a sense of connection that enriches our conversations. To enhance these techniques, I recommend taking a few moments before any important interaction to check in with yourself. Consider how you're feeling and what energy you want to bring into the conversation. This simple practice can set the tone for a more constructive dialogue, allowing both parties to express themselves freely and authentically. Remember that each interaction is an opportunity to connect, and by aligning our energy, we can create a powerful exchange that benefits everyone involved. Chapter 7: Personality Archetypes and Traits. Personality archetypes, e.g., leader, nurturer, analyst, and how to identify them. Understanding personality archetypes is like having a map to navigate the complex world of human behavior. Various archetypes represent different modes of being, and they help us identify the strengths and weaknesses of ourselves and those around us. For instance, the leader archetype is characterized by decisiveness, confidence, and a natural ability to inspire others. Leaders often feel comfortable taking charge and directing a group towards a common goal. On the other hand, the nurturer archetype embodies empathy, warmth, and a desire to help others. Nurturers flourish in roles that involve caregiving or support, and they are often the glue in social groups. Then there's the analyst, who is marked by logical thinking and a desire for clarity. Analysts thrive on data, dissecting information, and seeking out patterns to understand the world. By being aware of these archetypes, we can better appreciate our unique qualities and the traits that others bring to the table. When it comes to recognizing these archetypes in others, paying attention to behavior and communication style can provide valuable insights. For example, if someone often takes charge in discussions and seems to enjoy making decisions for the group, it's likely they embody the leader archetype. In contrast, someone who frequently asks how others feel or offers support during tough times is probably a nurturer. Observing the way individuals respond to challenges also reveals their archetype. An analyst might approach a problem with systematic analysis, seeking the best data to find a solution. Engaging in conversations and noticing how someone interacts during discussions or conflicts can unveil their underlying archetype. Just like a puzzle, each interaction brings a piece of the picture of who they are, helping us understand and connect better with those around us. To deepen your understanding of personality archetypes, it can be helpful to observe not just what people say, but also how they express themselves nonverbally. Body language, facial expressions, and even tone of voice can be strong indicators of their underlying archetypes. A confident stance and assertive voice may point to a leader, while open, welcoming gestures might signify a nurturer's presence. By tuning into these subtle cues, you can enhance your ability to identify and appreciate the diverse personality archetypes in your life, leading to more meaningful relationships. Remember to approach each interaction with curiosity and an open mind, making it easier to recognize the beauty in everyone's unique traits. Introversion, extroversion, and ambiversion in communication styles. Introverts often have a rich inner world and may prefer solitude or small gatherings where they can engage in meaningful conversations. Their communication style tends to be reflective and thoughtful. They often take their time to formulate responses, favoring depth over breadth. When introverts speak, they may be selective about their words, choosing to share insights that resonate with their experiences. This inclination influences how they connect with others. They typically appreciate deeper discussions instead of small talk, which can sometimes leave them feeling drained. Conversely, extroverts thrive on social interaction, finding energy in engaging with people and sharing their thoughts freely. They are often characterized by their outgoing nature, enjoying vibrant discussions with many participants. Extroverts frequently think aloud, thinking through ideas as they speak, which can make their communication style seem more spontaneous and dynamic. Ambiverts, a blend of introversion and extroversion, possess the remarkable ability to adapt their communication style based on the situation. This flexibility allows them to navigate various social environments comfortably. In settings that promote lively exchanges, ambiverts may adopt a more extrovert approach, actively participating in discussions and enjoying interactions with multiple people. Yet, they can just as easily switch to a more introspective style when the setting calls for it, finding comfort in quieter moments or smaller gatherings. This adaptability can serve as a bridge between introverts and extroverts, allowing ambiverts to understand and appreciate the values of both personality types. They can lead discussions while also drawing out others, creating a balanced dynamic in group settings. When you find yourself in any social scenario, take a moment to consider your own communication style. Embracing your natural tendencies can enhance your interactions and help you connect more deeply with others. Whether you lean toward introversion, extroversion, or ambiversion, understanding these traits in yourself and others can foster more empathetic and engaged conversations. As you navigate your communication, remember that being authentic to your style, while being mindful of those around you, can create richer and more rewarding connections. Exercises for recognizing personality traits in friends, colleagues, and strangers. Engaging in activities designed to observe personality traits can be a fascinating way to enhance our understanding of those around us. One simple way to start is by taking note of how people react in various social situations. For instance, when you attend a gathering, pay attention to how different individuals respond to jokes or lighthearted conversations. Some might laugh easily and engage enthusiastically, while others may remain reserved or respond with more serious comments. This difference can indicate extroversion or introversion. Another activity involves observing teamwork dynamics. When collaborating on a project, notice who takes the lead, who prefers to support others, and who brings up innovative ideas. These behaviors can help you identify traits such as leadership, agreeableness, or creativity in your colleagues and friends. Incorporating games or icebreakers in social settings can also reveal much about personality. A quick game of charades or a group challenge often exposes competitive spirits or cooperative natures, providing a glimpse into the personalities involved. Encouraging journaling reflections can significantly enhance your observation skills. After interactions with various individuals, taking a moment to jot down your impressions can help solidify your observations. Write about how different people made you feel and what specific traits you noticed. Did someone express a strong opinion at work, showing assertiveness? Or did you encounter someone who listened more than they spoke, indicating perhaps a more contemplative personality? By revisiting these reflections, you can track patterns over time in the personalities you interact with and gain deeper insights into your relationships. This practice doesn't just enhance your understanding of others. It can also reveal your own preferences and biases in social interactions, allowing you to grow in empathy and awareness. When you approach social interactions with curiosity and a willingness to observe, the world around you transforms into a learning experience. Each person you meet offers a unique perspective shaped by their personality, and recognizing these traits can enrich your social life. A valuable tip is to remain open-minded. Resist the urge to label people too quickly. Instead, allow your observations and reflections to develop naturally. Over time, this approach transforms your social encounters into meaningful connections that celebrate diversity in personality, fostering a richer, more inclusive community. Chapter 8: The Art of Speaking Their Language. How to tailor communication styles to resonate with different personalities. Adapting your communication style to fit the listener's personality is essential for building strong, meaningful connections. I've learned that when I take the time to observe how others communicate, it opens up a whole new realm of understanding and engagement. Each person has their unique way of processing information and expressing themselves, so recognizing these differences can make a significant impact. For example, when speaking with someone who is more analytical, I try to provide data and clear, logical points that cater to their detail-oriented mindset. Conversely, when I'm interacting with someone who prefers a more social and emotional approach, I prioritize storytelling and express empathy to create a more resonant dialogue. This skill not only helps in avoiding misunderstandings, but also fosters a sense of trust and rapport, making conversations feel more meaningful. I've seen firsthand how effective communication adaptations can change the dynamics of social interactions. At a recent networking event, I encountered a group of individuals who varied greatly in their personalities. One person was very direct and focused on results, so I quickly adjusted my conversation to be concise and to the point, emphasizing key outcomes of our work. Another individual in the group was more relationship-oriented and enjoyed discussing shared experiences. I shifted my approach again, asking open-ended questions and relaying anecdotes that invited them to share their own stories. The conversations flowed beautifully, and I noticed how those small shifts in my communication style helped each person feel valued and understood. These experiences reinforce my belief that with intention and attention, we can create connections that are deeper and more rewarding in diverse social contexts. Finding a balance in communication is about being observant and flexible. One practical tip is to pay attention to nonverbal cues, such as eye contact, gestures, and body language, which can reveal a lot about how someone prefers to communicate. If you notice someone leaning in and nodding, they likely appreciate engagement and interaction. On the other hand, if they appear reserved or distracted, it may be wise to give them space or ask more reflective questions. By practicing this observational skill and being willing to adjust your approach based on these signals, you can foster more effective and enjoyable conversations. Remember that every interaction is an opportunity to learn more about others and, in turn, more about yourself. Practical tips for engaging with analytical, emotional, assertive, or reserved individuals. When communicating with analytical individuals, it's essential to present information logically and clearly. They appreciate facts and data, so providing concrete evidence to support your points can greatly enhance your conversation. Avoid overly emotional appeals, as these might make them uncomfortable. Instead, engage their reasoning by asking thought-provoking questions that encourage deeper analysis. For emotional individuals, empathy plays a crucial role. These individuals thrive on connection, so it's important to acknowledge their feelings and show genuine understanding. Use a warm tone and share personal stories or experiences to create a bond. With assertive people, clarity is key. They respond well to straightforward communication. Be direct and confident, laying out your thoughts without hesitation. It's equally important to respect their perspectives while asserting your own views. For reserved individuals, patience is vital. They may take time to articulate their thoughts, so avoid putting them on the spot. Instead, create a comfortable space for them to express themselves, perhaps by sharing your own experiences first to ease the pressure. Blending various approaches can significantly bridge the gaps between different personality types. For instance, when talking to someone who is analytical yet emotional, you could start with data to catch their analytical mind, then relate it to an emotional anecdote that resonates. This enables a multidimensional dialogue where both logic and emotion are valued. With assertive and reserved individuals, initiating a discussion with a clear point might encourage the assertive individual to engage robustly while allowing the reserved person to join in gradually, creating a dynamic exchange. Embracing versatility in your communication method enhances understanding and fosters a more profound connection. Adapting your tone and approach according to the personality of the person you are engaging with can break down barriers and cultivate a sense of mutual respect and understanding. The key to effective communication lies in recognizing that every individual carries their unique perspective shaped by their personality. Keep in mind that patiently observing and adapting to these differences can create a more harmonious interaction. A practical tip to remember is to always begin by mirroring the communication style of the person you are engaging with. This could mean matching their tone, pace, or even their body language. Doing so can subconsciously make them feel more at ease, paving the way for a more productive and enjoyable conversation. Stories of successful connections through adapting communication styles. Real-life encounters often showcase the remarkable power of personalized communication. I once witnessed a manager successfully navigate a complicated team meeting. The manager took the time to understand the communication preferences of each team member. One was analytical and preferred data-driven discussions, while another thrived on storytelling. By weaving in statistical insights alongside relatable narratives, the manager created a space where everyone felt valued and engaged. The result was not just a productive meeting, but also a cohesive team dynamic born from respect and understanding. The transformative power of recognizing and adapting to different communication styles cannot be overstated. In another instance, I found myself in a conversation with a colleague who had a highly direct approach. Initially, I felt put off by their bluntness. However, as I adapted my style to be more forthright and clear, the dialogue became more effective. We began to tackle complex problems with ease because we understood each other's preferred ways of expressing thoughts. This experience taught me how shifting our communication to match another's can bridge gaps and foster deeper connections. Chapter 9. Navigating Emotional Triggers. Recognizing signs of emotional triggers and avoiding conflict escalation. Identifying emotional triggers is crucial for maintaining healthy communication. Common triggers often stem from past experiences, fears, or insecurities. For instance, when someone feels dismissed or unheard, they might react defensively, raising tensions in a conversation. Other typical triggers include feeling criticized, being invalidated, or encountering abrupt changes. It helps to reflect on personal reactions. Recognizing moments when emotions intensify can reveal underlying triggers. Journaling these experiences can be a powerful tool. By noting what specific interactions cause heightened emotions, a clearer pattern can emerge, enabling preemptive opportunities to mitigate future conflicts. To manage responses effectively and avoid escalating conflicts, practicing self-awareness is vital. One strategy is to pause and take a deep breath before reacting. This moment of reflection can prevent knee-jerk responses driven by emotion. Engaging in active listening also significantly reduces misunderstandings. When both parties feel heard, it lowers defenses and promotes a collaborative environment. Additionally, employing I statements can express feelings without sounding accusatory. This approach often leads to constructive dialogues rather than heated arguments. Another effective method is to establish ground rules for discussions, ensuring both sides are committed to respectful communication, which can be particularly helpful during volatile topics. Ultimately, remaining mindful of triggers and responses is a continuous journey. Embracing self-reflection and empathy can transform the way we engage with others, fostering healthier relationships. A practical tip to remember is to always check in with yourself. Before entering a potentially heated conversation, ask yourself what emotions bubble beneath the surface and how they might influence your responses. This simple practice can pave the way for more productive and peaceful interactions. Examples of personality-based triggers, e.g., control for type A personalities, feeling ignored for empathetic types. Specific personality types exhibit distinct triggers in social interactions, influencing how they respond to various situations. For instance, individuals with type A personalities are often driven by a need for control and can become easily frustrated if they feel their authority is undermined or their plans are disrupted. When a type A person encounters unexpected delays or changes, their impatience may surface, leading to confrontational exchanges. On the other hand, empathetic types have unique sensitivities. They may feel unacknowledged or ignored when others don't validate their emotions or ideas. If an empathetic person tries to share a personal experience and the listener dismisses their feelings, they might withdraw or feel hurt, which creates a barrier in communication. Recognizing these triggers allows us to understand why someone reacts the way they do in social settings. Awareness of these triggers can significantly enhance communication. When we understand that a type A individual may be reacting to a loss of control, we can preemptively address any disruptions by setting clear expectations or timelines. Likewise, if we know that an empathetic person needs validation, taking a moment to acknowledge their feelings can foster a deeper connection. By being mindful of how different personalities react to specific stimuli, we can tailor our interactions to promote understanding and cooperation. Engaging in active listening, showing empathy, and being clear about our intentions become crucial skills that pave the way for smoother exchanges. Strategies to diffuse tension and build rapport. Recognizing when tensions are rising is a critical first step to diffusing potential conflicts. The way we respond in those moments can mean the difference between a blow-up and a constructive conversation. One effective technique is to breathe deeply and take a moment before responding. This pause allows emotions to settle and gives you a chance to access your rational thoughts. Using calm, open body language can also help to decrease emotional charged situations. For instance, uncrossing your arms and maintaining eye contact can signal to the other person that you are approachable and willing to listen. Another strategy is to validate the other person's feelings, regardless of whether you agree or disagree. Saying something like, "I understand that you feel frustrated," can work wonders. It acknowledges their feelings without agreeing to any particular viewpoints, which can prevent them from feeling attacked. Offering compromises or solutions early on can also help to steer the conversation into more constructive territory. Empathy and active listening are essential ingredients for maintaining rapport with others, especially during challenging conversations. When we genuinely show we care about what someone else is saying, we create a bond that can withstand tension. To practice empathy, try to put yourself in the other person's shoes. Ask yourself how you would feel if you were in their position. This mindset allows you to connect on a deeper level, showing the other person that you are engaged and invested in the conversation. Active listening goes hand in hand with this. It's not just about hearing the words, but also paying attention to the emotions behind them. Reflecting back what you understand, like, "It seems you're really concerned about this issue," demonstrates that you are not only listening, but also processing their concerns. Moreover, maintaining a non-judgmental attitude encourages openness. When people feel safe to express their thoughts without fear of criticism, they are more likely to share, leading to richer and more meaningful conversations. Utilizing these strategies can transform how we navigate our interactions with others. In moments of tension, remember that your demeanor can influence the atmosphere significantly. By remaining calm and composed, you encourage others to mirror that energy. One practical tip is to practice these techniques in low-stakes environments, such as casual conversations with friends or family. This way, you become comfortable with these strategies and learn to apply them when the stakes are higher. The more we cultivate empathy and active listening, the more equipped we become to navigate conflicts gracefully and build solid, lasting relationships. Chapter 10: Empathy as the Ultimate Connection Tool. Understanding and practicing cognitive, emotional, and compassionate empathy. Empathy comes in different forms, and each form plays a significant role in how we relate to one another. Cognitive empathy allows us to understand someone else's thoughts and perspectives. It is like stepping into their shoes, observing their situation through their lens, and grasping how they are processing their experiences. This form is particularly useful in conversations where understanding the facts and feelings behind them is critical. It builds the foundation for deeper connections because it shows that we care enough to comprehend the complexities of another person's viewpoint. Emotional empathy, on the other hand, goes a step further. It involves not just understanding, but truly feeling what someone else is experiencing. When we can emotionally empathize, we create a visceral bond with others, allowing us to connect through shared feelings. This type of empathy can often drive us to help others in times of need because we genuinely feel their pain or joy. The last form, compassionate empathy, combines the previous two. It's about feeling with someone and feeling motivated to act on their behalf. This form helps us respond proactively, whether it's through support, kindness, or simply being present for someone who is struggling. Empathy can drastically transform challenging conversations, turning potential conflicts into opportunities for connection and understanding. When we approach a tough discussion with an empathetic mindset, we set the tone for the dialogue. By acknowledging the other person's feelings and thoughts, we can diffuse defensiveness and create an atmosphere where both sides feel safe to express themselves. Engaging in active listening, where we not only hear the words but also sense their emotions, can shift the conversation from a place of frustration to one of collaboration. For example, a disagreement can become a meaningful exchange when empathy is in play. It allows for validation of feelings, which can lead to genuine resolution and mutual respect. Challenging conversations don't have to end in misunderstanding. By consciously practicing each form of empathy, we can cultivate a space where open, honest communication flows freely. Fostering empathy can enhance both personal and professional relationships. Recognizing that everyone has their own unique struggles and experiences empowers us to respond with kindness and collective understanding. One practical tip for enhancing your empathy is to make it a habit to pause during conversations, take a deep breath, and reflect on the other person's perspective before responding. This small act can transform how we interact with others. How empathy bridges gaps in communication and fosters trust. Empathetic engagement plays a crucial role in cultivating trust and a deeper understanding among individuals. When we approach conversations with empathy, we create an atmosphere where the other person feels heard and valued. This sense of safety encourages openness, allowing both parties to express their thoughts and feelings without fear of judgment. I've found that when I actively listen, reflecting back what I hear, the other person often responds with a sense of relief. They feel acknowledged, which in turn fosters a deeper connection. In my experiences, many misunderstandings arise from a lack of empathy. When we fail to see the world through another's eyes, we miss the nuances that shape their perspective. Empathy bridges this divide by reminding us that everyone has a story, giving us the opportunity to appreciate different viewpoints and respond more thoughtfully. There are countless examples of how empathetic responses can transform communication. I recall a conversation with a colleague who was visibly stressed about a looming deadline. Initially, I was tempted to offer swift solutions, but instead, I took a moment to ask how they were feeling. By expressing genuine concern and patiently listening as they spoke about their pressures, I was able to support them more effectively. This simple act of empathy not only eased their stress, but also strengthened our professional relationship. In another instance, I watched a friend navigate a sensitive topic with their family. Instead of responding defensively, they chose to validate their family members' feelings, creating a space for honest dialogue. These moments illustrate how empathy can shift the dynamics of communication, paving the way for problem-solving and collaboration. One practical way to enhance empathetic engagement in everyday conversations is to practice reflective listening. This involves repeating or paraphrasing what the other person has said to show that you are truly engaged with their message. Not only does this reinforce your understanding, but it also encourages them to elaborate, knowing their thoughts are valued. Remember, the goal of empathy is to forge connections, and by adding this simple technique to your communication toolbox, you can build trust and understanding more effectively. Exercises for cultivating empathy in challenging situations. Enhancing empathy skills actively can transform the way we interact with others, especially in challenging situations. One effective practice is to engage in reflective listening during conversations. This involves fully concentrating on what the other person is saying, validating their feelings, and summarizing what you've heard to ensure understanding. By making a conscious effort to listen without interrupting, you allow yourself to step into their shoes and grasp their emotional state more deeply. Another practice is to imagine different perspectives when faced with conflict. When someone is angry or upset, take a moment to think about what factors might have contributed to their feelings. What experiences have influenced their response? This can help you respond with compassion instead of defensiveness, bridging the gap of misunderstanding with empathy. Additionally, incorporating moments of silence to process emotions can also be beneficial. Instead of jumping to conclusions or reacting impulsively, a pause allows both parties to reflect on their feelings and thoughts, paving the way for a more empathetic conversation. Sharing moments of genuine empathy in real-life scenarios can strengthen our connections with others. Think about a recent interaction where you witnessed someone struggling. Consider how you felt in that moment and what thoughts came to mind. Sharing your own experiences of empathy, whether it was offering support to a friend during a tough time or simply being present for someone who needed it, can inspire others to do the same. When you create a culture of empathy by recounting these moments, you encourage those around you to recognize their capacity for understanding and kindness. Discussing real-life empathetic actions, no matter how small, can lead to significant changes in your community. It encourages a vibe of togetherness and reminds us all that we are not alone in our struggles. Moreover, encourage others to share their own experiences of empathy. This creates a dialogue and helps everyone understand the importance of being present for one another, solidifying our role in nurturing an empathetic environment. Practicing empathy takes time and dedication, but small actions can yield big results. Try setting a daily goal of connecting with someone, whether through thoughtful questions or simply listening intently. The more we focus on cultivating empathy, the better we can navigate the complexities of human interactions. Genuine connection is the heartbeat of empathy, and every effort made to practice it can lead to a more compassionate world. Chapter 11: Trust, Vulnerability, and Connection. The role of trust in reading and connecting with people. Establishing trust is like laying a strong foundation for a house. Without it, everything else becomes shaky and uncertain. When I think about the times I've connected deeply with others, it often comes down to trust. It's in the quiet moments when vulnerability shines through. People are more willing to share their thoughts, feelings, and experiences when they sense that trust exists. This creates an environment where understanding can flourish. I remember a conversation with a friend who opened up about some personal struggles. That moment felt like a gift, one that I treasure. It was built on a trust that took time to nurture. Without that trust, my friend might have kept those feelings hidden, and I would have missed out on learning a part of their story that was deeply meaningful. Trust transforms interactions from mere exchanges of words into rich, emotional connections that push us to consider perspectives beyond our own. The building blocks of trust in communication include honesty, consistency, and empathy. When I communicate with others, I always aim to be honest. This means being clear about my thoughts and feelings while also being open about uncertainties. I really appreciate when others do the same. It fosters a sense of reliability. Consistency is equally essential. When I follow through on what I say, it creates a pattern that reinforces trust. Over time, people come to know what to expect from me, and in return, I find I can better understand their actions and words. Empathy plays a pivotal role as well. Taking the time to genuinely put myself in someone else's shoes helps me respond in a way that respects their feelings and experiences. I find that when these elements are present, conversations shift from surface-level exchanges to deep, meaningful dialogues. This connection enriches our interactions and reinforces the importance of trust in building relationships. To build trust in your own interactions, consider starting small. Share something personal, stay consistent in your promises, and always seek to understand others. This practice can gradually cultivate an atmosphere of trust in which meaningful connections can thrive. Examples of how vulnerability can break down barriers. Vulnerability has a fascinating ability to create deeper connections and shared experiences between people. When I first opened up about my struggles with anxiety to a close friend, I noticed an immediate shift in our relationship. Instead of our usual light banter, we delved into meaningful conversations that revealed our shared fears and uncertainties. It was refreshing to share this part of myself, and I quickly discovered that my friend also had her own battles to fight. This mutual understanding nurtured a bond that had previously been difficult to access. By allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, we invite others to do the same, breaking down the walls that often keep us isolated in our struggles. There was a moment in my life when I found myself feeling particularly exposed. During a family gathering, I shared a story about a challenging period I faced. In that circle, where everyone seemed to have their lives perfectly together, I spoke about my experiences with failure and self-doubt. To my surprise, my candidness sparked a wave of openness around the table. One by one, family members began to share their own vulnerabilities. An aunt, whom I always perceived as confident, opened up about her battle with depression. A cousin revealed his struggles in finding a career he was passionate about. Hearing these stories highlighted how everyone carries their own burdens, often hidden beneath a facade of strength. In that moment, vulnerability became our common ground, allowing us to connect on a much deeper level than mere small talk ever could. Recognizing the power of vulnerability can be transformative not only for personal relationships, but also in professional settings. I remember attending a workshop where the facilitator encouraged us all to share our setbacks and challenges instead of just our successes. The openness in that room fostered an environment of trust and support. Many of us left feeling lighter, knowing that we weren't alone in our struggles. This collective experience encouraged collaboration and innovation, as ideas flowed more freely when people felt safe to express themselves. Embracing vulnerability can be a powerful tool in cultivating openness in any relationship, reminding us that every person we meet likely has their own story to share. Practicing this openness can create a stronger, more connected community around us. Tools for building trust through consistent and honest communication. I have learned that offering practical tips for consistency and transparency is essential to fostering trust. When I communicate with others, I always strive to be straightforward and honest. Using plain language helps prevent misunderstandings. Being open about intentions and feelings creates a safe space for others, allowing them to feel secure and valued. I find that setting clear expectations from the beginning not only clarifies my own intentions, but also helps others to align their expectations with mine. This consistency enhances trust over time, as people begin to know what to expect. I also make it a point to check in regularly, providing updates even when there's nothing new. It's about showing that I care and that I'm dedicated to keeping the lines of communication open. The importance of follow-through when maintaining connectedness cannot be overstated. I've noticed that when I commit to something, whether it's a deadline or a promise to listen, it's crucial to follow through. Each time I keep my word, I reinforce my reliability and build stronger connections with others. Conversely, when I fail to follow through, it can damage the trust I've worked hard to build. Maintaining transparency during these moments is equally important. If circumstances change and I cannot deliver, I make sure to communicate that promptly. This reinforces my respect for the other person's time and feelings while also keeping the trust intact. Being dependable can be hard work, but it pays off as a well-maintained trust fosters deeper connections. Chapter 12. Adapting to different environments. Navigating social dynamics in professional, personal, and casual settings. Every setting comes with its own set of communication nuances and expectations, influencing how we interact with one another. In a professional environment, for example, communication tends to be more formal. We often use specific jargon and adhere to a structure that aligns with organizational culture. Here, clarity and efficiency are paramount. It's not uncommon for dialogues to be brisk, often focusing on productivity rather than personal stories. In contrast, personal settings allow for deeper emotional connections and are filled with shared histories and familiarity. Conversations may flow more freely and include humor, which can create a warm atmosphere. Casual environments bring yet another dimension, where communication can become playful, informal, and spontaneous, often revolving around shared interests or lighthearted topics. Understanding these differences helps in adjusting our tone and approach according to the setting. Flexibility plays a crucial role when engaging in various environments. Adapting one's communication style is not just about changing words. It's about reading the room and adjusting our demeanor to match the expectations and comfort levels of those around us. For example, throwing in a joke in a casual setting may lighten the mood, but that same joke might not resonate in a serious business meeting where stakeholders expect professionalism. It's important to remain observant and guide oneself in conversations, noting cues from others that indicate how they are responding. The skill lies in toggling between levels of seriousness and informality while still being genuine. Sometimes, all it takes is a slight shift in body language or tone to resonate with someone, illustrating the intricate dance of social interactions. Being adept at navigating these diverse social dynamics significantly enhances our ability to connect with others. One practical tip is to consciously practice active listening. This means not only hearing what the other person is saying, but also picking up on nonverbal cues that can indicate emotional responses. By actively engaging with someone during a conversation and showing genuine interest in their perspective, you create a space where effective communication can thrive, regardless of the setting. This not only enriches relationships, but also fosters an environment where diverse ideas can flourish. How to read group dynamics and adapt your approach accordingly. Assessing group dynamics can seem a bit daunting at first, but I've found that with the right mindset and a few tips, it becomes natural over time. Start by really paying attention to the interactions happening around you. Listen closely to how people communicate and observe their body language. Are some individuals more dominant in conversations, while others tend to listen more? This type of insight can give you clues about the group's overall dynamic. You might notice that certain themes or topics spark excitement or tension among members. Identifying these undercurrents can help you tailor your communication to resonate more effectively with the group. For instance, if you sense that a specific subject causes discomfort, it may be wise to approach that topic delicately or steer the conversation in a different direction. By gauging the mood and dynamics, you'll find it easier to connect and foster a supportive environment. Being observant and responsive is crucial to fostering healthy group interactions. You may find that groups can fluctuate in their moods, sometimes shifting from enthusiasm to concern in a matter of moments. By keeping an eye on these changes, you can adjust your approach to meet the group's current emotional state. For example, if you notice that the energy in the room is low, try injecting some positivity into the conversation. Ask open-ended questions to engage members and draw out their opinions. However, if the group is feeling tense, it might be more effective to adopt a softer tone and provide space for people to express their feelings. The key is to remain flexible and attentive, allowing you to navigate the complexities of group dynamics more effectively. Always remember, the ability to read moods and dynamics is where the real magic happens. It's this skill that can transform interactions from mundane to meaningful. One practical tip that has worked wonders for me is to take mental notes of more subtle cues, things like hesitations in speech, shifts in posture, or changes in eye contact. These often hold more significance than they might seem at first glance. Developing your ability to notice these small details can enhance your understanding of the group's atmosphere and empower you to adapt your communication style to be more effective and authentic. Real-world examples of successful connections in diverse environments. Each of us carries a story, and when these stories intersect in diverse social contexts, powerful adaptations often emerge. I recall attending a community event where people from myriad cultural backgrounds were brought together to share food, music, and stories. In that vibrant atmosphere, an elderly woman from India connected with a young musician from Brazil over a shared love for rhythm. They ended up collaborating to create an impromptu performance that blended traditional Indian dance with Brazilian samba. What struck me was how their differences transformed into a beautiful synergy, showcasing the strength found in diversity. Another instance comes to mind in my own neighborhood, where a group of immigrant families established a shared garden. Initially hesitant to engage due to language barriers, they found a common activity in gardening, which led to friendships that transcended their varied backgrounds. Over time, this project fostered a sense of community, teaching members about each other's cultures while growing fresh produce together. Such adaptations don't just happen. They thrive in environments where openness, communication, and shared interests reign supreme. From these experiences, a few key takeaways emerge that anyone can apply in their own life. Firstly, finding common ground is essential. Whether it's through activities like cooking, gardening, or even a shared passion for music, identifying mutual interests can create a bridge between disparate backgrounds. Secondly, being open to learning from others enriches our personal narratives. Each unique perspective offers us insights that deepen our understanding of the world. Embracing curiosity rather than judgment allows for more meaningful connections to form. Lastly, remember that connections can flourish in unlikely places. Sometimes, taking the first step, whether it means participating in community activities or simply striking up a conversation, can lead us to beautiful relationships that we may not have anticipated. These lessons emphasize the importance of engaging with the diverse tapestry of life around us. As you navigate your daily life, consider seeking out opportunities to connect with those different from you. Whether through community events, cultural festivals, or even just casual chats with neighbors, every interaction holds the potential for growth and understanding. The beauty lies in recognizing that these connections not only enrich our lives, but also contribute to a more inclusive and vibrant community. Chapter 13, The Role of Microexpressions. A deep dive into reading fleeting expressions of emotion. Microexpressions are those brief, involuntary facial expressions that occur in a fraction of a second. They reveal our true emotions, often contradicting what we say or how we act. For example, a person might smile and say they are happy, yet a fleeting furrow of their brow or a quick grimace can reveal underlying sadness or anxiety. These subtle cues can be incredibly significant in helping us understand the real feelings of others, especially in moments of high tension or conflict. It's fascinating how our faces can betray our true selves, making learning to read these microexpressions a valuable skill in communication, relationships, and even negotiations. The science behind microexpressions is rooted in psychology and neuroscience. When we experience an emotion, our brain processes that feeling and sends signals to our facial muscles faster than we can consciously control. This means that microexpressions can provide a glimpse into our genuine reactions before we even have time to mask them. Research has shown that these tiny, fleeting expressions occur in every culture, making them a universal language of emotions. To enhance our recognition skills, we can practice observing others' faces during conversations or while watching videos. Focusing on the nuances of their expressions, such as the way their eyes might narrow when they feel skeptical, can help us tune into emotions that words might not convey. It's all about being attentive and understanding the myriad ways our faces tell stories. Recognizing microexpressions is a skill that can be refined over time. One practical tip is to engage in role-playing scenarios with friends or family. Take turns expressing different emotions while the others guess what you are conveying just by looking at your facial expressions. This not only hones your skills, but also builds a deeper awareness of how emotions manifest physically. By cultivating this awareness, we enhance our emotional intelligence and improve our ability to connect meaningfully with those around us. Training exercises to detect and interpret microexpressions effectively. Heightening awareness of microexpressions in real time can greatly enhance our ability to read others. One effective exercise is to engage in conversations where you consciously focus on the facial expressions of the person speaking. As they talk, try to dissect their expressions moment by moment, noting any quick flashes of emotion that may surface. Start with familiar people, as you might feel more at ease and able to notice subtle cues without the pressure of unfamiliarity. Consider setting a timer for just a few minutes during these interactions, dedicating that time exclusively to observing expressions rather than the content of the conversation itself. This practice can reveal the richness of nonverbal communication and help you connect more deeply with the other person. Media examples can also serve as powerful tools for developing your interpretative skills. Watching movies or television shows provides an excellent way to practice. Choose scenes with minimal dialogue and pay close attention to how actors express emotions using their faces. Use pause and rewind features to analyze split-second expressions closely. Consider what each microexpression signifies and compare your observations with the scene's context. This kind of practice not only sharpens your ability to interpret emotions, but also familiarizes you with a range of expressions across different cultural contexts. Engaging with diverse media, ranging from documentaries to animated films, can broaden your understanding of how expressions come to life in various scenarios. Staying mindful and curious during social interactions or media consumption can reveal a wealth of insight into emotional subtleties that might otherwise go unnoticed. One useful tip is to keep a journal where you jot down your observations about microexpressions after interactions or media sessions. Note any patterns or surprising insights you might discover about specific expressions and the emotions they convey. Over time, this practice will deepen your understanding and enhance your sensitivity to the emotional language that unfolds in front of you. Examples of how recognizing microexpressions can change interactions. One evening, I found myself at a dinner party, surrounded by acquaintances and friends. As the conversation flowed, I noticed a subtle shift in Jane's expression. For a brief moment, her smile faltered, revealing a flicker of discomfort. It took no more than a split second, but it changed everything. Sensing her unease, I paused and asked if everything was all right. This simple acknowledgement opened a door to a deeper, more meaningful conversation. Jane shared how the topic we were discussing reminded her of a difficult experience at work. Recognizing that microexpression allowed me to connect with her on a level far beyond small talk, transforming the atmosphere of the entire gathering. Instead of keeping our conversation surface level, we dove into richer dialogue, fostering a sense of understanding and camaraderie. It became clear to me how powerful it is to notice these fleeting expressions, as they often reveal unspoken feelings that can change the trajectory of our interactions. Understanding emotional nuances can be a game changer in any conversation. One afternoon, during a crucial meeting at work, I was presenting a new project concept. As I spoke, I noticed my boss, Mark, tilting his head slightly and narrowing his eyes. These microexpressions gave me insight into his skepticism. Rather than plowing ahead or ignoring these cues, I took a moment to address his concerns directly. I can see this might be a lot to take in. "What are your thoughts?" I asked. By acknowledging his expression, I invited him to share his reservations. This simple act not only diffused any tension, but led to a candid discussion about the project's limitations and strengths. It was through understanding these emotional nuances that our collaboration flourished. We walked away from that meeting not just with a clearer project path, but with a stronger working relationship. Being attuned to microexpressions can improve the quality of all kinds of interactions, whether personal or professional. The key takeaway is to stay present and observant. Pay attention to those fleeting moments when someone's expression doesn't align with their words. By being mindful of such signals, you can enhance your empathy and adapt your responses effectively. This practice requires a willingness to look beyond surface-level conversation, embracing the texture of human emotion. Try honing this skill in your daily conversations. Next time you engage with someone, observe not just their words, but their faces. This small shift could lead to deeper connections and improved communication. Chapter 14: The Influence of Cultural Context. How cultural norms influence communication styles and behavior. Communication is deeply influenced by the culture in which we are raised. For instance, in many Asian cultures, indirect communication is the norm. This means that people often rely on nonverbal cues and context to convey their messages rather than saying something outright. In contrast, Western cultures, like the United States, typically promote directness. A straightforward approach is often valued, leading to clear and open exchanges. My encounters with diverse cultures have shown me that understanding these differences can prevent misunderstandings and foster smoother interactions. Having cultural literacy is essential for connecting with others across different backgrounds. It goes beyond simply knowing a few facts about a culture. It involves being aware and respectful of various communication styles and social norms. When I engage with someone from a different culture, I make an effort to adapt my communication style. This could mean being more patient while listening, recognizing that pauses or silence do not indicate disengagement, or being mindful of sensitive topics that might not be appropriate to discuss. Developing cultural literacy helps break down barriers and build bridges, allowing for deeper relationships and mutual respect. As I navigate my way through conversations with people from various backgrounds, I've learned that the key to effective communication lies in being observant. Pay attention to how others communicate and adjust accordingly. When in doubt, humor and humility can often diffuse tense situations. A lighthearted approach can pave the way for shared understanding, making it easier to engage in meaningful discussions despite our differences. Learning to embrace these cultural nuances enhances not just communication, but our overall experiences with one another. Recognizing and respecting cultural differences in body language, tone, and expectations. Body language is a silent yet powerful form of communication, and its nuances can vary dramatically from one culture to another. For instance, in some cultures, maintaining eye contact is considered a sign of confidence and sincerity, while in others, it may be interpreted as disrespect or aggression. As I navigated through various cultures during my travels, I became increasingly aware of how gestures and postures can hold different meanings. A simple nod in one country might suggest agreement, while in another, it could mean something entirely different. This realization prompted me to become more observant and to appreciate the significance of these nonverbal cues. Understanding body language is crucial not only for effective communication, but also for building relationships and demonstrating respect for the values and norms of others. This deeper awareness helped me connect more meaningfully with people from diverse backgrounds. Alongside body language, the subtleties of tone and expectation also play a vital role in our interactions with one another. The way we say things can carry a weight that transcends mere words. I learned that a warm, inviting tone can foster openness and trust, while a harsh or dismissive tone may create barriers. Different cultures have their own expectations regarding formality and familiarity, shaping how conversations unfold. For example, some cultures prioritize directness and brevity, while others value a more elaborate and respectful approach to communication. It's essential to be sensitive to these differences and to adapt our tone and style accordingly. When engaging with someone from a different culture, pausing to consider their background can help us make informed choices about how to express ourselves, ensuring that our messages are received in the spirit we intend. As you engage with individuals from various cultural backgrounds, Remember that the key to successful communication lies in your awareness and adaptability. An effective way to navigate these differences is to approach each interaction with curiosity and genuine interest. Rather than making assumptions, ask questions when unsure about nonverbal cues or tones. This openness illustrates respect and a willingness to learn, enriching your personal interactions and fostering a deeper understanding of the beautiful tapestry of human communication. Practicing patience and mindfulness in these moments can transform your conversations into opportunities for authentic connection. Stories of cross-cultural misunderstandings and how they were resolved. One evening, while attending a dinner party in a small town abroad, I found myself in the midst of an unexpected cultural clash. The host, eager to showcase his culinary skills, prepared a local delicacy that included a type of fish revered in his culture. Seated at the table with a diverse group of guests, I noticed a few unfamiliar expressions as some guests hesitated to try the dish. I later learned that in their culture, consuming certain types of fish signifies bad luck. This misunderstanding sparked a heated, yet enlightening discussion about food customs and beliefs that varied widely among us. Rather than letting the tension spoil the evening, our host shared the story behind the meal, emphasizing the cultural significance, while the guests shared their own food taboos. The atmosphere changed as they began to appreciate not just the dish, but the narrative woven into it, bridging a gap of misunderstanding with open dialogue. The resolution came from a simple act of respect and curiosity. Instead of ignoring the discomfort, we embraced it. As we exchanged experiences and deeper meanings behind our culinary choices, we managed to find common ground. It was a reminder that understanding and adaptation require not just listening, but also engaging with one another's perspectives. By the end of the night, everyone was not only more open to tasting new things, but also eager to learn more about each other's cultures, creating a bond that went beyond food. Chapter 15: Detecting Deception. Techniques to spot dishonesty through verbal and nonverbal cues. When people are being dishonest, their speech and body language often reveal signs that can be telling. For instance, you might notice a change in their voice, such as a higher pitch or a nervous quiver. These changes can indicate discomfort and a conscious effort to deceive. Additionally, the way someone delivers their words can be a red flag. If they avoid direct language and use vague terms or excessive qualifiers, this could signal that they are trying to obscure the truth. Pay attention to their eye contact, too. A person who is lying may either overcompensate by maintaining too much eye contact or, conversely, avoid it altogether, as if they are trying to escape the scrutiny of your gaze. Fidgeting, shifting body weight, or crossing arms might also indicate that a person feels trapped in their own falsehood. Assessing the context of a conversation can equip you with tools to identify potential dishonesty. Instead of taking statements at face value, consider the overall scenario. What do you know about the person? Have they been consistent in their previous interactions? Look for inconsistencies in their story, such as details that don't quite match up or diverge from established facts. Developing a habit of asking open-ended questions can encourage the individual to reveal more information. This may lead to contradictions or discrepancies that could indicate deception. For example, instead of asking, "Did you go to the store?" you might say, "What did you see when you went to the store?" This subtle shift invites them to elaborate, and oftentimes, liars are tentative with their details. Being aware of both verbal patterns and physical signals can create a sharper intuition about honesty. Practicing active listening is invaluable. It helps you fully absorb what the other person is saying while also observing how they say it. Combine this with a critical eye on the environment and context, and you'll be well equipped to engage in meaningful conversations while hunting for the truth. Remember, the goal isn't to play an interrogator, but rather to glean a deeper understanding of those around you. Taking a moment to consider the situation can often illuminate whether someone is being forthright or less than honest. The psychology behind lying and why people deceive. Understanding why people lie often takes us deep into the human psyche, revealing complex motivations fueled by various psychological mechanisms. People might lie to protect themselves from punishment or criticism, to gain some advantage, or to maintain social harmony. These motivations speak to our innate desires for acceptance and self-preservation. The fear of losing love and respect can prompt someone to twist the truth, crafting a facade that feels safer than facing judgment. Additionally, cognitive processes like rationalization often support these deceptions. A person may convince themselves that lying is necessary or even justified, blurring the lines between right and wrong. This mental gymnastics is fascinating. It highlights our ability to mold reality in ways that serve our needs, regardless of its impact on others. The conflict between our desire for honesty and our instinct to protect ourselves creates a tension that many navigate daily. Deception does not occur in a vacuum. It is heavily influenced by context. Different situations can compel individuals to lie, ranging from personal relationships to professional settings. In personal relationships, people might tell white lies to avoid hurting their partner's feelings, believing that a gentle deception serves the greater good. In contrast, the workplace can create a high-pressure environment where exaggeration or misrepresentation of achievements becomes the norm. Competition can lead individuals to believe that misleading others is necessary to succeed or even survive. Social norms also play a critical role. In some circles, lying may be dismissed as a mere tactic for social maneuvering. It creates an intricate dance of interaction where honesty and deceit coexist. The pressures of these contexts shape our choices, often pushing us toward emotional justifications for our actions. Awareness of the key motivations and contexts of deception can empower individuals to navigate the complex web of truth and lies in their own lives. Understanding that the urge to deceive often stems from deep human fears and desires can foster empathy. Instead of reacting with anger when confronted with dishonesty, consider what might be prompting that behavior. This perspective shifts the focus from punitive responses to transformative conversations that encourage honesty and openness. Cultivating a culture of trust, whether in personal relationships or workplaces, can mitigate the need for deception. By valuing transparency and expressing vulnerability, we can create environments where the truth is not only safer but also more rewarding. Practice scenarios for identifying inconsistencies in communication. When we enter conversations, especially on sensitive topics, it's crucial to observe the subtle signs that can hint at deceit or inconsistencies. Imagine you're at a gathering and someone begins telling a story about an adventure they had while traveling. As they speak, you notice that their eye contact wavers, and they often glance away when describing details that should be vivid and memorable. This could indicate they are unsure about their story, revealing a possible inconsistency in their narrative. Another scenario could involve a colleague at work discussing a completed project. They may share their excitement about the outcome, yet their body language contradicts their words, perhaps with crossed arms or a lack of enthusiasm in their tone. These small cues can signal deeper truths that warrant further reflection and understanding. It's essential to not only recognize these signs, but also to engage in discussions that challenge the honesty of our interactions. Consider practicing with a friend or a family member where you can share your thoughts on a current event or a personal experience. As you converse, focus on asking deeper questions that require more than surface-level answers. For instance, if someone tells you they are happy with their job, ask them what specifically brings them joy or what challenges they face. This encourages them to elaborate, allowing you to gauge the authenticity of their statements. Engaging in these kinds of dialogues helps develop a keen sense of discernment in communication and heightens your awareness of potential inconsistencies. Understanding the nuances of communication can be enhanced through practice. The more you dialogue and reflect on the interactions you have, the better you'll become at spotting discrepancies. Pay attention to not just what is being said, but how it's being communicated. Tone, posture, and facial expressions all play significant roles. A practical tip is to keep a journal where you note your observations from conversations. Reflect on instances where what someone said didn't align with their nonverbal cues and consider how you might approach those discussions differently next time. This exercise can deepen your understanding of honest communication and help unravel the complexities behind what we express. Chapter 16. Becoming a People Whisperer. Combine observation, empathy, and adaptability to build meaningful connections. To connect with people effectively, I have discovered that integrating observation, empathy, and adaptability is crucial. Observation goes beyond simply seeing with our eyes. It involves truly noticing the nuances of body language, facial expressions, and even the tone of voice. For instance, I often pay attention to how someone's posture changes in conversation or how their eyes light up or dim based on the subject matter. These silent signals can tell us so much about a person's feelings or thoughts. When I combine this observational skill with empathy, I begin to forge a genuine connection. Empathy allows me to step into someone else's shoes, to feel what they're going through. When I show that I understand their feelings, I not only validate their experiences, but also create a bridge of trust. Adaptability then becomes the tool that allows me to respond appropriately in various situations. Every interaction is unique. By remaining flexible and open, I can adjust my approach based on my observations and the emotions I perceive, making the connection more meaningful and relevant. The journey to becoming adept at this art requires practice and consistency. I cannot emphasize enough how vital it is to engage in this skill building regularly. Like any other skill, it deteriorates without use. I strive to make a habit of observing people in different environments, at work, in social gatherings, or even in casual encounters. Each interaction provides an opportunity to refine my skills. I find that keeping a journal of my observations and reflections has been incredibly helpful. It allows me to track my progress and notice patterns in how I connect with others. Regular practice helps me to internalize my insights and rehearse my emotional responses, making me better poised to connect in the moment. Consistency lends itself to a natural rhythm in my conversations, and it feels less forced and more genuine over time. Ultimately, developing the ability to connect with others through observation, empathy, and adaptability can transform our relationships. One practical tip is to create spaces for open conversations. Ask questions that invite deeper responses rather than surface-level chatter. This practice not only enhances your understanding of others, but also makes it easier for them to open up, leading to richer and more meaningful exchanges. Stories of individuals who excel at reading people and how they do it. Throughout my journey, I have encountered remarkable individuals who possess an innate ability to read people with precision and empathy. One such individual is Maya, a renowned psychologist who has dedicated her life to understanding human behavior. She often shares stories from her practice, illustrating how her ability to read subtle cues, like body language and tone of voice, has transformed her interactions with clients. Maya recounts a session where she noticed her client's nervous tapping on the chair. By addressing that anxiety, she created a safe space, allowing the client to dig deeper into their issues and ultimately find healing. Then there's Alex, a successful entrepreneur whose sharp intuition has been his greatest asset in business negotiations. Alex often emphasizes that reading people isn't just about observing their actions, but also about understanding their motivations and emotions. He tells stories of meetings where he could sense discomfort or hesitation in potential partners, enabling him to adjust his pitch and approach. This awareness, he believes, has led to mutually beneficial agreements and lasting partnerships. These stories exemplify how each individual, through their unique experiences, has cultivated a personal toolkit for reading people effectively. The practices and mindsets that contribute to the successes of these individuals are deeply rooted in their dedication to empathy and continuous learning. Maya practices active listening, ensuring she fully absorbs her clients' words and hidden meanings. She encourages others to be present in conversations, as this fosters deeper connections and understanding. Alex, on the other hand, believes in the power of observation. He often reflects on his interactions, analyzing what worked and what didn't, which has refined his skills over time. Both emphasize the importance of being open-minded and curious, suggesting that a genuine interest in others can reveal layers of insight that would otherwise remain hidden. Understanding people is not merely a skill, but a practice of patience and humility, reminding us all that every person has a story worth hearing. For anyone looking to improve their ability to read people, consider taking a moment to observe the small details during conversations. Pay attention to not just what is said, but how it is said. Notice the body language, the pauses, and the emotions that come into play. This mindfulness, shaped by thoughtful observation, can significantly enhance your interpersonal skills, leading to richer, more meaningful connections. Exercises for synthesizing all skills into a cohesive practice. Bringing together various skills into a cohesive practice requires intentional exercises that encourage integration. One effective approach is to create a personal project that draws from multiple areas of expertise. For instance, if you've been honing your writing, drawing, and digital design skills, consider crafting a comprehensive blog that merges storytelling with visual elements. This allows the application of diverse talents, forging connections between them. Setting aside dedicated time for this project can stimulate creativity and push boundaries, leading to unexpected insights and growth. Regular reflection on your progress plays a significant role in personal development. Taking the time to journal about what you've accomplished can illuminate areas of strength and also highlight where you need improvement. Ask yourself questions like, what new connections have I made between my skills? Which areas felt challenging, and how can I approach them differently? Documenting this reflective process not only solidifies your learning, but also establishes a roadmap for future growth. Try to schedule these reflections weekly, viewing them as a part of your practice, making it an integral part of how you evolve. Always remember to seek feedback from others. Engaging with a community can provide external perspectives that can enhance your understanding and reveal blind spots. Whether through online forums, workshops, or simple conversations with friends, being open to constructive input can help you refine your skills even further. Balance this with self-reflection, as both are essential to a well-rounded practice. Create a habit of weaving these insights into your routine, ensuring that every step taken is purposeful and aligned with your overarching goals. Chapter 17. Reading Yourself. The importance of self-awareness in understanding others. Self-awareness is the first step in connecting with others on a deeper level. It's about knowing who we are, recognizing our own emotions, strengths, and weaknesses. When we are self-aware, we can understand our motivations and reactions, which opens the door to meaningful interactions. This understanding doesn't just enrich our own lives, it enhances our relationships. By grasping our feelings and thoughts, we begin to see how they influence our interactions with the people around us. It's like holding up a mirror to ourselves. We unlock the potential for genuine empathy and connection. As I delve deeper into my own self-awareness, I've found that it profoundly changes how I perceive others. When we understand our own triggers and biases, we become more empathetic and attuned to the emotions of others. This heightened sensitivity helps us interpret not only verbal cues, but also those subtle nonverbal messages like body language and tone of voice. For instance, when faced with someone who seems upset, my self-awareness allows me to pause and reflect. I can approach them not just from my perspective, but also consider their emotional state, leading to a more compassionate response. Therefore, as we develop our understanding of ourselves, we also hone our ability to read the people around us and respond with greater insight. Recognizing our own feelings and thoughts allows us to have more meaningful conversations and navigate social situations with ease. Practicing mindfulness and reflection can serve as powerful tools in enhancing our self-awareness. This practice doesn't need to be complicated. Simply taking a moment to think about our experiences, asking ourselves what we felt in a particular situation, or even journaling about our daily emotions can help us connect better with ourselves and, subsequently, with others. Through self-awareness, we lay the foundation for understanding others, enriching our personal and professional relationships. Tools for identifying your own communication blind spots and biases. Assessing personal biases and communication blind spots is a vital step toward effective interaction. There are several assessment tools available that can help you gain a clearer picture of how you communicate. Self-reflection questionnaires, for example, can highlight areas where your perceptions might be skewed. You might use a simple set of questions to explore your thought processes when in a conversation. Consider your first impressions of someone, your reactions to certain topics, or even how you interpret others' words and intentions. Engaging with tools like 360-degree feedback can provide valuable perspectives from colleagues, friends, or family, helping you identify patterns in your communication that you may not notice on your own. These tools prompt you to think critically about your interactions, encouraging honesty and openness as you delve into potentially uncomfortable truths about your communication style. Evaluating your communication habits should not be a one-time event, but rather an ongoing process. Make it a habit to check in with yourself after significant conversations or presentations. Reflect on what went well and what may not have worked as intended. Consider keeping a journal to note your feelings and reactions in various communication scenarios. This practice can serve as a powerful mirror, revealing recurring themes in your dialogue that stem from biases or blind spots. Share your observations with trusted friends who can provide insight and hold you accountable. By fostering an environment that encourages continual evaluation, you'll create a space for personal growth, helping you to interact more effectively each day. Remember that understanding your biases is not about blame. It's about progress, and adopting this mindset will aid you in becoming a more mindful communicator. Being aware of your own communication styles can significantly improve your interactions. One practical tip is to regularly practice active listening. This means fully concentrating on the speaker without forming your response while they talk. It may feel challenging at first, particularly if you're used to interjecting your thoughts. However, listening deeply can reveal biases in your communication and help you gain a better understanding of others' viewpoints, ultimately enriching your interactions. How self-growth enhances your ability to connect with others. Personal growth plays a crucial role in forging authentic connections with others. When I reflect on my own journey, I realize that the more I've worked on understanding myself, the more genuine relationships I've formed. Growth encourages us to peel back the layers of our personalities, recognizing our strengths and vulnerabilities. This self-awareness allows us to show up honestly in interactions, fostering deeper connections. People tend to resonate with authenticity. When we express our true selves, it invites others to do the same. This mutual sharing creates a foundation of trust and openness, essential ingredients for meaningful relationships. To truly enrich our connections, we must commit to a path of ongoing self-improvement. It is not a destination, but a journey that continuously evolves. Taking small steps each day, whether it's practicing mindfulness, pursuing new skills, or simply being open to feedback, can lead to tremendous growth. As we expand our horizons, we not only become more interesting individuals, but also more empathetic ones. Engaging in self-reflection and setting personal goals allows us to bring our best selves to our relationships. In doing so, we pave the way for bonds that are not only built on shared experiences, but also on a foundation of respect and understanding. One practical tip to facilitate this growth is to engage in regular conversations with trusted friends or mentors. By sharing our experiences and seeking feedback, we gain invaluable insights that can guide our development. This practice not only deepens our understanding of ourselves, but also strengthens our connections with others who are invested in our personal journeys. Chapter 18: The Ripple Effect of Understanding People. How mastering the art of reading people enriches relationships, careers, and communities. Improved interpersonal skills change everything. When I began to understand the nuances of body language, tone, and facial expressions, I found that my interactions blossomed. Instead of feeling like I was walking through a maze, I started to navigate the social landscape with confidence. I could read unspoken thoughts and feelings, which allowed me to connect more deeply with friends, family, and colleagues. For instance, during a tough meeting, I noticed my coworker's anxious fidgeting and decided to address the elephant in the room. This not only eased the tension but also sparked open communication, leading to innovative solutions we hadn't considered before. This kind of awareness transformed my relationships as I became a more empathetic listener and a trustworthy confidant, enriching not just personal bonds but professional alliances as well. The ability to interpret the emotional climate in any room opened doors to collaboration and trust that were previously closed. This mastery of interpersonal skills creates a ripple effect that extends far beyond individual relationships. When people engage with empathy and understanding, they foster an environment that encourages kindness and cooperation. In my community, I witnessed how a few individuals who practiced active listening began to influence local gatherings. Events drew more participants because they felt genuinely heard and valued. This sense of belonging not only strengthened our social fabric, but also ignited collective projects aimed at improving our neighborhood. The more we interacted with intention, the more we inspired others to share their voices and experiences. Our community thrived on inclusivity, where diverse opinions contributed to our common goals, ultimately making life richer for everyone involved. Understanding others is an incredible gift that enhances our daily lives dramatically. By taking the time to read people authentically, we cultivate connections that can lead to lifelong friendships and successful collaborations. A practical tip for honing this skill is to practice being present in conversations. Instead of planning your next response while someone speaks, focus entirely on their words and body language. Notice the details, how their eyes light up with enthusiasm or how their shoulders slump with discouragement. This practice not only deepens your comprehension of others, but also makes them feel valued, thus enhancing your relationship and fostering a more vibrant community. The balance between understanding others and honoring authenticity. Authenticity is the foundation of any meaningful connection. When we are authentic, we invite others to be themselves, creating a safe space for genuine interaction. There is a certain magic that happens when people communicate from a place of truth. It fosters trust and encourages openness. Each time I have experienced authentic conversations, I have seen walls come down. People begin to share their thoughts without fear of judgment, enhancing the connection we share. It's crucial to remember that authenticity isn't just about being real with ourselves. It's about allowing others to express their truths as well. True connections blossom in environments where we can truly be ourselves, and that starts with each of us being authentic in our interactions. Finding a balance between understanding others and respecting their individuality can be challenging. As I navigate relationships, I often find that the more I try to understand someone's perspective, the more I also learn to appreciate their unique qualities. Understanding doesn't mean changing someone to fit our expectations. Instead, it is about embracing what makes them who they are. In my journey of connecting with others, I've realized that listening is more than hearing words. It's about attuning ourselves to their experiences, emotions, and truths. When I practice this deeply empathetic listening, I create a space where others feel honored for who they are, allowing me to truly appreciate the diversity of thought and emotion that exists among us. It's a delicate dance, honoring authenticity while striving to understand. Each person carries their own story, shaped by experiences that are often vastly different from our own. The more we engage with those stories, the richer our relationships become. One effective approach I've found is to ask open-ended questions that invite others to share their full selves. This not only leads to deeper conversations, but also shows respect for their individuality. By genuinely seeking to understand, while also celebrating their uniqueness, we cultivate relationships that are not just about connection, but about mutual respect and growth. Remember, it's not just about understanding where someone is coming from. It's about appreciating where they are going as their authentic selves. A final invitation to practice these skills to create a more connected and harmonious world. Every connection begins with a decision. You have learned valuable skills that can transform the way you interact with others, and now it's time to put them into action. Fostering lasting connections requires more than knowledge. It requires intention and practice. From simple acts of kindness to deep, reflective listening, each moment offers a chance to connect. Think about your daily interactions, whether at work, home, or in your community. Approach these moments as opportunities to practice the skills you've gained. For instance, when conversing with someone, focus not only on what they say, but on how they feel. This attention can create a deeper bond, leading to richer, more meaningful relationships. As you practice, notice the warmth that develops through shared laughter, empathy, and understanding. It's in these everyday moments that genuine connections flourish. Commitment to ongoing practice enriches your journey toward connection. Just like learning an instrument, the more you play, the more fluent you become. Seek out environments where you can refine your skills. Join groups that share your interests, volunteer in your community, or simply invest time in conversations with friends and family. Each engagement is a chance to apply what you've learned and to witness the impact of your efforts. Keep a journal to reflect on these experiences, noting what worked and what didn't. This self-awareness will guide your growth and inspire you to embrace challenges as they come. With every interaction, you become part of a larger tapestry woven with understanding, compassion, and unity. One practical way to enhance your skills is to create a habit of gratitude. At the end of each day, think of 3 connections you made, no matter how small. Maybe it was a smile exchanged with a stranger or a heartfelt conversation with a loved one. Acknowledging these moments not only reinforces positive behaviors, but also encourages you to seek out more opportunities for connection. It's through these practices that we cultivate a more connected and harmonious world, one interaction at a time. Conclusion: the journey of connection. The power of reading people to deepen relationships and foster understanding. Understanding others is a remarkable force that can transform relationships. When we take the time to truly know the people around us, we unlock levels of connection that go far beyond surface interactions. It is as if we are given a new lens through which to view those closest to us, deepening our empathy and drawing us closer. The impact of this understanding is felt not only in our personal lives, but also in our professional interactions, as we create a foundation of trust and respect. Every nuance, from a person's body language to their tone of voice, adds layers to our understanding and allows us to connect in a meaningful way. Reflecting on my own experiences, I remember a time when I misread a friend's silence during a particularly tough period in my life. I assumed they were uninterested or distant, but in reality, they were deeply concerned and unsure of how to offer support. It was a misunderstanding that could have been easily avoided had I tuned in to their subtle cues. After realizing my mistake, we had a heartfelt conversation about our feelings, leading to a profound reconnection that strengthened our friendship. This moment taught me the importance of being mindful and observant, showing me that communication goes beyond words. Expanding our ability to read people not only enriches our relationships, but also cultivates a greater sense of community and shared understanding. Each interaction becomes an opportunity to learn and grow, not just for ourselves, but also for those we engage with. To truly foster deeper connections, we can practice active listening and pay attention to the emotions displayed in our conversations. This not only helps us navigate our relationships more effectively, but also enriches our understanding of the diverse perspectives around us. Embracing this practice can make all the difference in building lasting connections. Actively integrating the insights from understanding people into daily interactions can feel like both an exciting adventure and a daunting challenge. I invite you to take a moment and reflect on your recent conversations. Did you notice the subtle cues in body language, tone, or even microexpressions? Each of these elements communicates a wealth of information beyond words. When you approach your interactions with curiosity and a keen eye, you start to unlock a deeper connection with those around you. For instance, when someone speaks with passion, their energy can be contagious. Pay attention to these moments. They can guide the direction of your conversations. Try incorporating just one small change, like genuinely asking someone about their feelings on a topic they care about, and observe how it transforms the dialogue. You might be surprised by how others respond when you show sincere interest in understanding them on a deeper level. The journey to mastering the art of reading people lies in consistent application. Simply recognizing cues is not enough. You must also practice responding appropriately. For instance, if you notice someone is hesitant in a conversation, instead of pressing on, take a step back and reassess the situation. This act of tuning into their emotional state fosters a safe space and encourages open communication. Over time, these small adjustments will not only improve your interpersonal skills, but also deepen your relationships. Remember, every interaction is an opportunity, whether it's at work, with friends, or even with strangers. It's within these daily moments that your ability to discern emotions and intentions can truly shine and grow. As you navigate through your day, keep this practical tip in mind. Practice active listening. This means not just hearing what is said, but engaging fully with the speaker. Nod, maintain eye contact, and occasionally restate what they've said to clarify. This will not only help you understand them better, but also signal that you value their perspective. Apply this technique even in brief encounters, and watch as your ability to connect and interpret builds confidence and skill. Mastering the art of reading people is an ongoing journey of growth and connection. Embracing the journey of learning to read people is essential for personal and relational growth. Each interaction offers a new opportunity to understand emotions, intentions, and perspectives. As we navigate this process, we recognize that each person's story is complex and layered. By being open and receptive, we can deepen our empathy and connection with others. It's not always easy, but when we take the time to tune into the subtle signals people send, we enrich our relationships and expand our social horizons. Every conversation can teach us something new, revealing not just the other's character, but also illuminating aspects of ourselves. This journey is about evolving, adapting, and discovering more about the intricate dance of human connections. Celebrate the connections you make, no matter how big or small. Every time you acknowledge someone's feelings or thoughts, you're honoring their existence and the bond you share. Whether it's a fleeting interaction with a stranger or a lifelong partnership, each connection carries the potential for growth. Take time to appreciate these moments. Foster curiosity and ask questions, listen actively, and share openly. Personal growth comes from these experiences, and every relationship has something to teach us. As you embark on this journey, remember that every effort to understand others magnifies the impact of the connections in your life. By nurturing these relationships, you create a more profound sense of community and belonging. As you continue honing the art of reading people, keep in mind that it is a skill that requires practice and patience. Approach every interaction with an open heart and a willingness to learn. Be attentive to nonverbal cues and don't shy away from vulnerable conversations. These practices not only help you understand others, but also encourage them to open up in return. The richness of human interaction lies in its unpredictability, and by staying connected and engaged, you steadily pave the way for building more meaningful relationships. As we come to the end of the art of reading people, decode personalities, build connections, and speak their language, I hope you feel empowered with a deeper understanding of the intricate layers that make up human interaction. By mastering the ability to read people, you've unlocked a skill that transcends words. It's about connection, empathy, and insight. Remember, the art of reading people is not about control or perfection, but about fostering genuine understanding. It's about seeing beyond the surface, recognizing the unique mosaic of traits, emotions, and stories that define each individual. With this knowledge, you can navigate relationships with confidence, adapt to diverse personalities, and create meaningful bonds in your personal and professional life. This journey isn't a one-time achievement, but a continuous practice of curiosity and compassion. As you step back into your daily life, keep refining these skills, observing the unspoken cues, and adapting your communication to truly resonate with others. In a world where connection often feels fleeting, your commitment to understanding others sets you apart. By embracing this art, you contribute to a ripple effect of empathy, trust, and harmony that will elevate not only your life, but also the lives of those around you. Thank you for taking this journey with me and Mindful Literary. I encourage you to share these insights, apply them, and watch as your relationships transform. Your path to deeper connection and influence has only just begun. Stay curious, stay compassionate, and continue to grow.